Hi, and thank you for joining today. I'm Natalie, the Marketing Manager at MNA Digital. Welcome to the first in our series of free marketing advice sessions. Today, we'll be giving some bite-sized tips on how to market your business during a crisis. The session will be about 15 minutes, and at the end, there'll be a chance for questions, and we'll also include a link for a one-to-one advice session. We'll be offering these free, so it's obviously hard to cover everything in 15 minutes, but if you'd like some more sort of tailored advice, our team are on hand to do that for you. Okay, so before I introduce our speaker, I thought I'd just tell you a little bit about MNA Digital. We're basically a digital marketing agency based in Wolverhampton, but we're actually brought to you by MNA Media, who are the publisher of the Express and Star and Shropshire Star. Our team specialise in delivering effective marketing solutions from web design, paid search, SEO, and also social media marketing. And we're also part of a wider group, so we have a creative agency in Surrey called Big Kid, who kind of do more sort of traditional marketing and creative advertising. So I'll bring us on to Mihnea. He is our speaker today. He's Head of Client Services at MNA Digital, having joined just over a year ago. He's a specialist in digital marketing strategy and performance management, and having worked with SMEs and global corporations, including E.ON, Virgin Money and Panasonic. He actually created his first website 15 years ago, and has over a decade of professional experience in digital marketing, if you can believe that. So he's well placed to advise us on how to grow your business online. So without further ado, I shall pass over to Mihnea now. Are you there?
Yeah, hi. Can everyone hear me okay? Yeah?
Yes.
You.
Great. Good morning, everyone. So if you've been on webinars like this before, you'll notice a lot of people tend to speak for a long time and not really say a lot. So we've specifically and purposely made this quite short, and we'll try and get right to the point. So I'll jump right into step one. So the first and most important thing you need to do is make sure you're communicating with your customers and that all your information is up to date. So be clear on how you're operating right now, if anything has changed due to the current situation, if you're operating different opening hours, and really be clear about your availability. So if we look at one example, my local co-op, they're operating reduced hours, but you wouldn't know it from looking at their website or any of their online listings. So of course, if you turn up in front of the store and it's closed, what do? You go to Tesco, which is the other nearest one. And that will happen in any industry, right? So people will just go to a competitor if they're not able to get in touch with you when they think you should be available. So the first thing to do is check over your opening hours on your Google My Business listing, if you have one, your website, your social media presence, and actually any business profiles you might have online, and make sure that's all updated. In terms of your website, you could have a banner at the top or a pop-up that informs people of updates, and feel free to obviously send an email to your existing client base or any customers you might already be working with. Now I mentioned the different platforms. So actually on Google My Business, if you're familiar with that, it comes up on the right-hand side of the Google results page when someone looks for your brand name or for local businesses in the area, in that industry. You can actually create posts on there, informing people, giving them a bit more information, but also you can update all the opening hours and contact details as well. In addition, other ideas might be to write a blog post, even send text messages if you can to your client base, and share any updates on social media or local community groups online if you are a local business. Step two, once the basics are covered, so to speak, especially if you have a bit more time available now, then make sure you're using that to add value and help grow your business. So there are a number of ways you could do that, but try and think about what your audience really needs at this time, and try and practice empathy and not be too salesy, right? So actually offer genuine value and avoid any hard sells. Of course, this will be different for every business and every industry. But a really great example we've seen recently is Gymshark. So if you're not familiar with them, it's a clothing brand based in Birmingham. They sell exclusively online. And what they've started doing since kind of mid-March, since coronavirus and the lockdown started, they're offering free live workout sessions on Facebook, 5 days of the week, and 12 hours a day. So pretty much any hour on the hour you can log in, and there'll be live yoga or live full body workout, etc. And obviously that increases exposure for them. A lot of people will become familiar with their brand during this time. It really is great value because you're not paying anything, and you're getting a live workout session. And of course, in the future, this should lead to additional sales for them. People working out at home might even buy things now because they need them, but also they'll remember the brand going forward. Now, other things you can consider are supporting your local or regional community. For example, a lot of people now are offering discounts or promotions for the NHS, and that's really great. Without being controversial, I think you need to think outside of the box a little bit as well, because everyone is doing that. But there are other groups that need your support just as much, whether they're recently unemployed or people that are more vulnerable and need to isolate at the moment. So kind of think about which other groups you could support at this time. And one last thing I wanted to mention in terms of adding value, it's not just content, right? It's not just creating a blog post or giving free advice over a live stream. It's not just doing live workouts if you're a sports brand. It's your business as well. So if you can take this time to improve operating processes, then you can help deliver better services and a better customer experience. So in essence, you should be able to service more customers with the same or fewer resources, or at least provide a better quality service by improving your own processes. So start from within as well. Now, adding value doesn't necessarily increase exposure. You need to make people aware of what you're offering, right? So if, for example, if you're a solicitor, maybe you could offer free advice for people affected by coronavirus. This could be due to travel issues, housing, or anything else. Just one example, but again, you need to get the message out there. So think about your social media presence, your website, friends, family, local groups or industry relevant groups. This could be on LinkedIn, it could be on Facebook, and also engage with existing content. So there will be a lot of people running podcasts, online events. Consider engaging with those and actually increasing your exposure, by piggybacking on the back of these, so to speak. And there are organic methods, which I've mentioned now, but there's also paid advertising, which you should consider. On social media, sometimes small budgets can go a long way, but then you also have paid search advertising, and there are many different ways you could look at it. So do experiment and try and increase the exposure that way. Okay. So in terms of step 4, building your list of potential customers or your sales pipeline, as it were. We've talked about adding value, which is great. We've talked about actually letting people know how you're adding value. But in the end, you still need to think about your business, right? How is this going to translate into more business for you? Well, people are online more often and they're fairly bored now because they're at home. So compared to normal circumstances, you can grab people's attention by ensuring your content is useful and engaging. So in addition to that, you've got their attention. Actually, what can you offer them to result in additional business? Can you offer free trials or any quotes? So when people have more time, you can then follow up on those in the future. Can you create a referral scheme with incentives for your existing customers or clients to help bring new business to you? Are you in a position to offer promotions if people are shopping? And really, one of the most important things you can do if you're not already doing it is transitioning to online. So, for example, Google Trends has shown an increase in, if we're talking about retail, inquiries about footwear, sportswear, DIY, party supplies, furniture. I actually have a longer list here, so I'll try and pick up a few others. Print, copy, scan and fax queries, greenhouse and conservatory queries are up 90% year on year. So everyone is going online literally for everything, whether it's a service business or product based. You can either sell directly online or gather inquiries. So look to do that in any way possible. A great example we've seen just last week is Primark is now losing out on 650 million pounds in sales every month because they're not selling online. So they've closed every store. That's how much they used to do in sales. And they've not really taken any steps to try and sell online now since this happened. And of course, that's very difficult to do for such a large business. But being an SME, you have some advantages. You're theoretically more agile. You're able to move faster. So now's the time. If you haven't already, created a website, or if you have one, look to improve it and really focus on the online world. And be more social. It could be hard to do during a lockdown, but virtually that's possible. I guess what we're talking about here is more social media. We said people are online more often, and really most of the time they will be on social media. They're spending more time there. So make sure you're engaging with people there. Be where the people are. Once your content is helpful and informative, then people might reach out for further questions or to ask about your services and products. So you have to be available on social as well. It's great to have email and a phone number, but actually people expect to be able to contact you on Facebook Messenger, on the Instagram inbox, and really anywhere. So what you can do to help save your time is you can use automated responses on Facebook to create quick answers for common questions. You can schedule posts to go live. So instead of you having to log in every time you want to post something, you can schedule things in advance for the next week, let's say, and those will just go out automatically. So it helps you save a bit of time. Now, one caveat with automated responses is if they're not thought through, obviously they can lead to more confusion. So do have a look. There are a lot of useful resources on Facebook. It's fairly easy to set up and it doesn't cost anything. So do have a look at that, but just bear that caveat in mind. On social, look to take your events there, take your events online. So teach an audience how to do something, create a live series, showcase and explain your products and services in more detail. You could go live with someone in the audience and interview them, or host a Q&A. So there are a lot of things. Just try and think about what might work for you. And again, push this message out to any groups on Facebook or LinkedIn, friends, family, existing clients, and try and get referrals as well. And like we said, small budgets can go a long way on social media. So sometimes boosting or promoting anything you've posted will help get more exposure. And make sure you're found online. So we've talked about the website. Really, search engine optimization, we think should be a big focus for anyone right now, because it is a long-term investment. If you're finding you have a bit more free time, then do invest that in creating value, but you can do that through your website as well. So use tools such as Google Trends and Answer the Public to see what kind of searches people are using related to what you're offering, and that'll help you produce the right content. So if you're seeing that, you know, oh, a lot of people ask questions about this, you can write a blog post for that. Or if you're finding actually maybe your current service pages aren't using the right keywords, you know, the title should contain the keywords that people use most often, and then the content on the page again should reflect that. So use this time to review your existing online presence and make any changes. Make sure the content that you have on your website matches people's searches. A big factor in search engine optimization, so about 50% of it, which still helps your website rank higher up, are incoming links from other websites. Because really Google and Bing and other search engines use it as a kind of vote. So if you're getting links from any quality websites, those votes actually count higher than links from low quality websites. And it's telling Google that, oh, you know, this website is important for this topic. So you can reach out to publications with, you know, that content you might have created, the videos, the blog posts you might have written that you're really proud of, that you think add value. Reach out to publications in your industry and they might feature them and link back to you. And actually that'll get you visibility and links, which will help increase your rankings as well. So as a quick summary, I know this is fairly top level. There's only so much we can cover in 15 minutes, of course, but we wanted to keep this quite punchy. Hopefully it's given you some good ideas about what can be done. And you can think about how these can be applied to your business specifically. So we've talked about communicating with your customers, making sure your information is up to date, adding value and giving back to your audience and the wider community. Look at ways to increase your exposure using that value. Build your sales pipeline, be social, be present on social, and be helpful and informative. And do consider your SEO strategy at this time.
Okay, thanks, Mihnea. I think we now have just a few questions that people sent in. We'll go through those now, and then if anyone else has got any other questions, we can raise them. So the first one is from David Andrew, and he'd just like to know how he can effectively market his business besides using social media.
Sure, yeah, that's a great question. Before I answer it, I'd just like to touch on the aversity to social media, and you might have reasons for this. But a lot of the time people don't think beyond Facebook and Instagram. I just wanted to point out there, you know, for B2B, LinkedIn is a much better social media platform. For things like fashion, actually Pinterest is great, and you can market on there as well. So if you think it's not relevant, maybe do consider all of the available social media platforms. But to answer your specific question, of course, we've talked about search engine optimization as a long-term way of improving, you know, visibility. You can look at paid advertising on search engines as well. So that is when, again, there's intent behind it. So if people search for exactly what you're offering, but maybe, you know, your SEO isn't there yet, you can use paid ads that show up right at the top of the results page and feature your business. So that's a great way of doing it.
Okay, great. And also, how can a small business differentiate itself from similar companies online?
Yeah, great question. And I guess it's the same online as it is offline in terms of differentiation. Really, it's about your unique selling points. It's about the product or service. You know, can you focus on a niche? I mean, looking at your business, of course, with business coaching, there's actually an element of career coaching in there as well. Maybe there's less competition in that. Maybe it makes sense online to focus on a niche first, an area where there's a bit less competition, and then grow from there and look at targeting the other services that you're offering. Product, price, of course, all big differentiators. So make sure you review your competition online and actually just go through that process and see how am I different, how can I change things and my business model to make sure I'm differentiating myself.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions that they'd like Mihnea to answer?
Yeah, it was very good though, very good session.
Yeah,
Okay,
very good.
Well, here's the link to the free marketing consultations. As we mentioned, we couldn't cover everything today, but if you would like one-to-one advice from our team, just book on, it's free, and we can go through anything that you'd like more information on. And we also have further events throughout the rest of the month. So if you want to register for those, there'll be a similar format, and you can just register for them on our website.